Good morning. Thanks for being here. Before Coach Mortensen addresses the media, I want to introduce UAB Director of Athletics, Mark Ingram.
Brad, thank you. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Saturday was a very sad day for UAB football and for UAB athletics. And before Coach Mortensen comes up, I just wanted to thank him and his staff and the team for how they handled a very difficult situation. We recognize the gravity of what happened Saturday morning and did very seriously consider not playing the game. That was not an easy decision, but it was only after we knew that the injured players were stable and after Coach was able to have a very honest and caring conversation with our team that we felt comfortable with the game going on, but only if the team wanted to play. And we wanted the team to understand that it was okay if they didn't feel comfortable playing. I really appreciate the sensitivity that Coach Mortensen and his staff showed in supporting our players in that decision. I want to thank our staff and our trainers who were on site and responded so quickly. I also want to thank our student counseling services for engaging with our team throughout the weekend and for their continued support. While Coach and the team prepare for the game this week, we will not lose sight of our top priority, and that is the mental and physical well-being of our student athletes. Coach Mortensen, I want to thank you again for your leadership and the care that you've shown for our team. Coach.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. I also want to thank the team and student counseling services. The way they really care about these young men is so important and has really been incredibly helpful. On behalf of the whole team, Mark and I also want to recognize the staff, trainers, first responders, and medical professionals who showed great professionalism throughout. We're really grateful for them. The last thing I will say about the incident is that I've had the opportunity to sit with our injured players and their families, and they are okay with me telling you that they have left the hospital and are recovering. They appreciate everyone's thoughts and prayers. I continue to ask for you and everyone involved to respect their privacy as they deal with what happened. I know there are still questions about the incident, but that's all I will say about it at this time. The police investigation is still ongoing, so out of respect for that and the legal process, as well as respect for the privacy of those most affected, I'm not going to go into any greater detail of the incident or individuals involved right now. Would you guys like me to take any questions at this point, or would you want me to go into the football portion? What I will do here real quick is just touch on the football opening statement, if we're okay with that, and then maybe we can get into questions. But the first thing is, I do want to say that this has been a very difficult couple days for a lot of players, and they have a tremendous love for each other. That was very evident, and I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about our time together in our meetings, but I really love this team and love the group of guys we have. In terms of the game and the football, obviously kind of pale small in comparison to obviously some of the things that have been going on, but I thought our guys fought really hard in the game and fought tough. Played for each other. I think that was the biggest thing, is they wanted to play for each other on Saturday. I think that was evident in their effort, playing against a very, very good team, a team that, at one time, was getting top 25 votes and came in here with 2 losses and, I think the 5th best offense in the country. In terms of the technical football part of it, I think the biggest thing is, we were able to keep this game tight up to the half. It was a 1-score game. Again, a testament to, I think, the will and toughness of our guys. I think that game's probably tied, or we probably have a lead if we capitalize on all of our opportunities that we had, which we had them, and then also if we don't, have some, give the game away in certain aspects, and particularly the couple turnovers were really hurtful at certain points. But our guys, again, they fought really hard for 60 minutes, and really pleased with them and love them very much. Moving on to the next game, we're playing Tulsa on the road. They have a new staff. They kind of have a little bit of life. They're coming off a big win against Army. They've beat Oklahoma State this year, and they have some other notable wins. They're a very good team, under Trey Lamb, and so we know we have a challenge to go on the road and play them at their place as they're capturing some momentum. And really, this is an opportunity for our seniors to have their last game, their last collegiate game. And I know a lot of them, the guys on the team that are not in their position, want to help send them out the right way. But I think I do want to state is what's most important to us is the well-being of our student athletes, of our players, and we're going to make sure that they have every opportunity this week to get the counseling services they need. We're going to make sure that they have every opportunity to step away if they want to step away, if they choose not to play in the game, that door, or if they don't want to practice, or if they need to just get out of here for a little bit. We're going to give them every opportunity to do that, each time we meet, and make sure that door is wide open. But thank you. That's all I have in terms of the opening statement. If you guys have any questions now.
Kind of like on that last note, this week in practice with it'll be different, just because of the emotions and guys stepping away if they need it. How do you handle that? Especially in something that's unprecedented, something that you can't go to a textbook and go, hey, this is how somebody handled this.
Right. Yeah. I think the thing that we're going to do, like I mentioned, is we're going to just open the door. We're meeting with them today, and of course we're going to meet with them every day this week. Open the door every time we're together to say, hey, if you whatever you're feeling, and sometimes maybe those things, you felt them over the weekend, but maybe they're hitting you now, or it might be Wednesday or Thursday, that, look, like, get the help you need, step away if you need to step away. So I think that's the first thing, is make sure that they know that we care and love for them as people, as human beings, way before, them being a football player. And then, those of the guys that do want to play, I think, again, getting out of a selfish mindset and I think, again, I saw that over the weekend, is just think about playing for each other, think about playing for, as I mentioned a little bit ago, the seniors and the guys that are kind of on their last stretch of football. And I do think this group has been through a lot, and their connection is very evident. And so it is also an opportunity for them to go play together for one last time. And so I think those are the things that we'll focus on, and then of course the football and the problems and issues and challenges that Tulsa provides, we'll address those just like we would any other week.
How close did it come to not playing the game over the weekend, and what was that process like deciding? I know the players had a choice. Was there ultimately a team vote, a discussion? How did that play out?
Look, some of the details of that, I'm probably not going to go much beyond my opening statement. I completely understand and respect the question, but just with everything that's going on, it's probably better that, I kind of probably stay pretty broad on that. But I would say that we made it very clear to the players that they did not have to play in the game, and we had guys that, and we were prepared to have no one play, but we did have guys that elected not to play in the game, and we're glad that they felt, that they understood that they didn't need to do that.
Are there any protocols or procedures in terms of safety that you all will be implementing due to what happened on Saturday going forward?
Right. Some of that, is probably those are things I'm probably not going to comment on right now. But I can tell you this: this administration really stepped in a big way. I have full confidence in our administration and their willingness to help, and our student athletes and everyone involved in the organization. So. Whatever's in place, I think, is going to be top notch.
Alex, at this point, do you have any idea how many players are going to opt out for Saturday? Is that a fluid process? Where does that kind of stand?
Right now, we don't know. We do have some information about it. It's a little too early for me to disclose any of that. And to answer your question, will it be fluid? I think it definitely will be fluid, because it's going to be an ongoing conversation through the course of the week. And like I mentioned, people can deal with trauma different ways, and you might feel one day Tuesday and you might feel a different way on Friday. And so it's really important to us that the players understand that, all the way up to game time, there's an open door for them.
Coach, I know you said you're going to kind of keep it to your opening statement, but are you able to tell us if the players were stabbed and then how the program moving forward, how things are going to go?
Yeah, I can't really provide any other, information regarding your first question beyond the opening statement. What was your second question? I'm sorry.
Just kind of like the program moving forward. Like, I know this is our last game, but like next year, anything you want to implement to make sure safety's top of mind?
Right. Well, I think, as it pertains to the safety part, like I said, I have a ton of confidence in our administration, the school. They've been tremendous through this process, and I know that whatever, is in place, policies, procedures, they're going to be top notch. I have no doubt about that.
When you talked a little bit about it, but when you look back at just how the guys that did play, responded, during the game, I mean, kind of was the sideline sort of typical, and just for them to be able to sort of control those emotions, and play a football game at that point.
Yeah, I don't think typical, would be the word. I think it definitely had a different feel to it, and I think, there's one. I think everyone knew that our guys were good. They were in good condition. There was, I'm not going to go as far to call it joyous, but there was like a lot of guys that were really, glad to hear that. But then, it wasn't a normal game by any stretch of the imagination. I think that once we got in it, I think guys tried to just focus on, the next thing in front of them, the next play, the next drive, the next series, but certainly there was a little bit of a different feel, without a doubt.
For the players that do elect to play this week, just what is your message to them, to maybe the importance of this game and how important it can be for the program? Yeah,
I think, the guys that elect to play, again, I think this goes back to, even when everything happened, prior to the Memphis game. It's the first thing is it's really about them. It's about them playing for each other, them playing for the guy to the left and right of them, and then I do think there's the ones that do choose to play, if they're comfortable playing, representing the program, the university in a manner with class and with the kind of effort and toughness that, shows well. I think those things are important. And then, some of them too, do have goals beyond this year to continue their career, and so certainly want to help. Part of our job as coaches is to help these guys reach their individual goals too, and want to help encourage them to, have the best game they can, so it helps them on their individual journey too. So those will be some things we'll talk about if guys are comfortable playing in the game.
All right, step away for a second to football. With Iverson Hooks, where does he fit into sort of, guys that you've coached or been with on, whether as a player or coach, where does he fit in, do you think, as just as a football player?
Yeah, Iverson Hooks is a very, very, very good football player, and he's got a great background. He's played some quarterback in high school, and I think it shows up in his the way he plays the game. He's a really savvy player. He's got really good instincts. He makes good decisions when you give him choices and routes. Even last week we gave him, a chance to throw a double pass, was covered. He made a great decision not to throw it. He's a really good real-time decision maker. He's a good athlete. He's quick. He's fast, and he's very competitive. He's a guy that a lot of times when the moment gets bigger, he does not shrink. So, he's really been a joy to coach, and he's been through a lot too. When you go back to some of the injuries he's had going back to high school, all the way through some of his early years here. So it's really, I know that's been hard for him. That's been hard for him, and it's been emotionally difficult for him. And so, really taken a lot of joy in seeing him have the kind of success he's had here lately.
From a momentum standpoint, how much can this game kind of propel the university to next year? You got the road streak ending that, just ending on a high note. Just what can this mean for the program? Yeah, I think it's a game that, look, every game's important to us. If we're going to play, we want to win, every one of them. But this is a game. It's an opportunity to try to create some momentum going into the offseason for the future of the program. Playing on the road, playing a conference opponent. So, we will, again, if we guys are prepared and want to play in the game, we'll be excited to try to go take that on. And
Again, you talk about the future of the program. I do believe that, this program, I think there's really good leadership here at the university. I think that we have, the resources, we have the geography, everything is in place for, this to be a really healthy football program. I really believe that. And we've had, we're still recruiting, and that's the message we've given to recruits too is, whatever decision, the school makes here, in the coming weeks or months or whatever, however that takes place, that, I think they can have a lot of confidence that this program can be incredibly successful. And whether it's facilities, whether it's resources, support, I can tell you even after the Memphis game, I can't tell you how many people reached out wanting to help and support this program. And some people you'd be surprised that don't have prior affiliation here that want to help and support it. So I think the future, whatever the results of this game are, I think the future can and will be very bright here. But we do want to try to use the game to help create some momentum going forward.
And we've talked a lot about the players' emotions and playing and deciding to play and not play. For yourself and your coaching staff, I mean, was that a difficult decision to decide to go through playing two? And kind of what was the process of that? Did you sit down as a staff and talk about it?
I'll just say this, this is obviously unprecedented. Mark mentioned in his statement, it was not easy, I think for the people involved in making the decision, but I don't really want to get into a lot more detail than that at this time.
Yeah, maybe question for Mark. Is that okay? Obviously, you mentioned it off the top, just what this was like for the program, just a sad moment. How does this sort of affect things moving forward, and as you look for a new coach, maybe an update on that and what you'll continue to look for?
Yeah, well, we have 500 outstanding student athletes here. They excel in the classroom. They give thousands of hours of community service back to our community. I'll use your word, Steve, unprecedented. This was an isolated incident. As far as the search is concerned, I don't want to speculate on any timelines there, but we've had a lot of interest from the very first day for the reasons that Coach Mortensen just stated. We're in a beautiful facility. Protective Stadium is incredible. Birmingham and the greater area around it is a fertile recruiting ground. UAB is a fantastic institution people want to be a part of.
Hey, Mark,
Yes, sir.
do you have any regret with playing the game Saturday?
Well, Alex and I talked a lot. Our university leadership talked a lot. And as I said earlier, we were comfortable if and only if the players wanted to play.
You mentioned the interest in the job. When you have an incident like this, does that change the interest in the job in your speculation, or do you believe it changed the interest from candidates outside?
I think the word you just said, speculate, I wouldn't want to speculate. That's what that would be, yeah.
And generally, in the past, you've spent Friday nights, even in home games, at a hotel. And you're not doing that this year. First off, what went the decision to change that, and could it have been different if you were in a hotel?
Well, we're not the only program that chose not to do that. It was something we tried this year. But again, I wouldn't want to speculate on whether or not that had any impact on that incident.
Are you considering moving back to that then in terms of going back to the hotel because of this? Or?
Well, we're always evaluating what we need to do to help our team win. What is the best, what is the meal that we eat? I mean, right down to every single decision that we make. What do we wear? What is the equipment like? What are we doing in the training room? Every facet of this program is something we constantly evaluate.
I have time for one more question. Final question.
I know you're not speculating on head coaches and that, like what you said to Steve, but what would be your message to any head coach that would be maybe concerned with this program given the recent events?
It's the same message that I've received from them, which is this is a fantastic opportunity. We play in the American Athletic Conference. We're in Birmingham, Alabama. UAB is a fantastic university and a place where people love to work. Thanks, everybody.